Hi, this is a Vinyasa slow flow class. The emphasis of today's class, the focus, will be on opening our hips and our shoulders. It would be great to have some blocks handy if you have them. If you don't have blocks, then at least have some towels, some pillows, even a blanket. Also, a strap. If you have a yoga strap, why don't you go ahead and grab that. If you don't have a yoga strap, a long scarf would be great, a long towel, even a couple belts that might be connected together. Having said that, let's get started in Shavasana. Shavasana is also called corpse pose, and this is the pose that we're going to do today to help us tune in, to truly arrive at our mat, to be present. So go ahead and lie down. Allow your legs and your feet to completely roll out. Bring your arms to your side with either the palms facing up or down, or even place your hands on top of your belly if you like. Sometimes placing the hands gently on our belly will help us connect to our breath. It will help us to notice if we truly are breathing down to our diaphragm. And you'll know that if when you take a deep inhalation, your belly will rise up towards the ceiling. And when you exhale completely, the belly falls back down towards the spine. Once again, just place your hands wherever you like. As you've probably heard me mention before, if you've taken one of my other sessions, the first few moments of our yoga practice is always used to help us check in. Check into our mind, check in with our body, check in on our mats. So take a few moments to do just that, beginning with your breath. Check in with your breath. Notice the flow, the rhythm. Check in with your body. How is it feeling today? If you're tired, allow yourself the permission to move slower, or even to come to a child's pose whenever you feel you need to. Check in with your mind. Do you have 1,000,001 thoughts racing through your mind right now? See if you can let them go one at a time. Allowing yourself permission to focus on yourself for this next hour. Coming out of Shavasana, bring your legs together, your feet together, bring your arms up over your head, point your toes, reach your arms up for a nice full body stretch, just like you're waking up, and then move in whatever way you feel you need to. And then hug your knees into your chest. Place the feet back on the floor, roll over onto any side, press yourself up to a seated position. Our next posture is going to be Thunderbolt, Vajrasana. This is where you will sit on your heels. And if you did that and already you're starting to feel pain in your knees, the tops of your feet, and your ankles, then you need to make some adjustments. The first thing you might want to do is take a block or two and, have a seat. Sit on them. This should take some of the pressure away from any areas of your knees or the tops of your feet or even your ankles. And if that's still not enough, take a pillow or blankets and keep propping yourself up so that you don't feel any pain in these areas, because we're going to be here for a little while. Excuse me. In Vajrasana, come to a nice, straight, long spine. Imagine you want to touch the crown of your head up to the ceiling, but at the same time, you are rooted down onto the floor, onto the blocks. Feel your shoulders melting away from your ears. It's a great time to close your eyes as well and to continue that tuning in, that checking in. If you have your eyes closed, go ahead and begin to blink them open. Wrist stretches, wrist movement, because this is a Vinyasa class, I like to get some movement through my wrists. And so what I'm doing is I've just made a fist and I'm circling them in one direction and then going into the opposite direction. Now take and clasp your hands together, relax your elbows, relax your shoulders, and just start to move them around. I'm basically making a figure 8 or an infinity symbol with my hands. And this is my natural direction. My hands automatically go to this direction. But I'm going to stop, and I invite you to do the same, and try to go in the opposite direction. This is not very easy for me. I have to actually kind of think about it. And so that's good for us every now and then to get out of our comfort zone and do something that's unusual, awkward. Shake the wrists out. Open and close the fingers real quick. Shake them out. Roll the shoulders round and back, and then up and forward. Grab your strap. Place one end of the strap in each hand. You might want to watch me first. Once you've got the strap, the scarf, the belt, whatever it is, in each hand, bring the strap up over your head, keeping the strap as taut as you can. And then check to see if your elbows are straight. And then bring the arms, the hands out a little further if you need to. And bring the hands back down. Inhale, bring the hands up over your head. Now this is going to be the tricky part. When you bring the hands behind you, try to make sure you're not bending the elbows. And go slowly. Inhale. Arms come back over your head. Exhale back down in front of you. This is a way that we're already starting to warm up the shoulders. I've heard this called shoulder flossing. Also starting to bring some synovial fluid into the shoulders. Remember, I said in the very beginning, this is a shoulder and a hip opening class. And so we're already starting to open through the shoulders as we bring some dynamic movement to it. Inhale and exhale. Moving with the breath, connecting our movements with the breath. Inhale, this is the last time. Exhale, bring the hands back down in front of you. Place the strap the side of your mat. Keep it handy. We'll probably use that later. I'm going to turn my back to you so that you could see the next stretch we're going to do for our shoulders and our neck. If you are not feeling comfortable in Vajrasana at all, please feel free to sit in any way you like. Bring the right arm out to your side in line with your shoulder. Flip the palm so it faces back. Take the right hand to the left side. Left hand grabs onto the right and pull that left shoulder back as far as you can so that it's pointing to the back. Release through the shoulders, bring the right shoulder down away from your ear and take the left ear towards the left shoulder. You should be feeling a stretch through the trapezius muscles along the side of the neck. Inhale, bring the head back upright to the center. Release the hands. Maybe you'd like to shake them out. And let's move on to the second side. Bring the left arm out in line with the shoulder. Turn the palm back. Take the hand, the left hand to your right side. Clasp it with the right hand and pull that elbow back. Left shoulder away from the ear. Right ear to right shoulder. If you're finding it difficult to breathe, try to release, relax. Don't hold your breath, please. And bring the head back upright. Release through the shoulders. Another posture for the shoulders. Try to clasp opposite elbows, and if you are struggling to do this, a modification would be to simply just bring the fists together. Your shoulders are relaxed away from the ears, your chest is lifted, the crown of your head is reaching up towards the ceiling. So the options, you have your fist touching, you're clasping the opposite elbow, or you're coming into reversed prayer with your hands, reverse namaste. And stay where you're at. I'm just going to come to the side to show you what's happening here is I'm using my hands to press into my upper back so that I could lift my chest. Shoulders relaxed. Release the hands. Staying in Vajrasana, taking a deep breath and just taking a moment to feel what was happening across the shoulders as you pause. Moving on, come to tabletop. Tabletop is an all fours position. Take a look at your knees. Make sure that they are hip distance apart and they are directly underneath the hips. So you're not out like this, okay? So align so that the knees are directly underneath your hips. The wrists and the arms are shoulder distance apart. They can be directly underneath the shoulders if that feels comfortable for you, or slightly in front of the shoulders. This is more comfortable for me. Take a look at your wrists. Your wrist creases, the creases of your wrists, should ideally be parallel to the short edge of the mat. So make any adjustments there. Open up your fingers nice and wide, spread your fingers nice and wide, and then plant the pads, your finger pads on the floor. Come to what you believe is a flat back. We call this tabletop for a reason, so that you're trying to get your back to be flat, like a table. Reach the crown of your head towards the wall in front of you and your tailbone towards the wall behind you. Tabletop position. Moving to cat-cow. Inhale, lift your chest, arch your back. This is cow posture. Exhale, round your back, blow all the air out, chin to chest, cat. Moving with your breath. Inhale, coming to cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale back to tabletop. Tuck the toes under. Lift the hips up, coming to our first downward facing dog. I like to bend my knees in my first few downward dogs. I also like to pedal my feet, also called walk the dog. I'm just bending one knee and the other as I try to press my heels down to the floor. Please don't rush the movement. And then find some stillness in your downward dog. Knees are bent if you need it to be. You don't have to have your heels touching the floor, but it is as if you are trying to reach that goal of pressing the heels to the floor. Take another deep breath. Inhale. Bend your knees deeply. Walk your feet to your hands. Place the hands on top of your thighs. Press yourself up with a flat back to a standing Tadasana. Bring the feet together. Bring the arms up over your head. Take your right hand, clasp your left wrist, pull up, reach up, and then bend over to your right. Inhale back to center. Exhale as you clasp the wrist and you laterally bend to the side. Keep moving, please, with your breath as I'm going to turn and give you some idea of when you bend to the side, don't bend forward or back. Like a pendulum, you are laterally bending side to side. Back to the center. Bring the arms down to your side. Tadasana posture, your feet are hip width apart. The arms are either out to the side with the palms facing forward. I like palms facing forward to help counteract this slumped posture, this rounded shoulders that we tend to have from our life of reading, working at the computer, driving, texting, whatever it might be. So this is my preferred arm position when I'm in Tadasana. You're welcome to do the traditional with the palms facing inward, or even the hands at prayer. I like this as well, with my thumbs touching right into my heart center. Find one that fits you. Inhale, bring the arms up over your head. Exhale, and you dive forward with a flat back into a forward folded position, Uttasana. Knees can be slightly bent. This is a great time if you feel any sensitivity, tightness, tension in your lower back, to use your blocks. 3 heights to your blocks. This is the highest, this is the medium, and this is the lowest. So take a moment to just feel into your back. Forward fold. More of the weight is on your toes instead of back onto your heel. So the weight transferred most to your toes. Inhale and flatten your back. So if I had my blocks here, I could use that to help me achieve a flat back. Don't forget about what's happening at the cervical spine. I know you might want to look up at the screen, and that's okay, but then bring it back down to a neutral alignment. This is called half forward fold, Ardha Uttanasana. forward fold, release and let go. With a flat back, we're going to do what's called an upward dive or upward salute, reverse dive. Hands up and then hands back down into your Tadasana. Let's try that again. Inhale, arms up over your head. Exhale, dive to a forward fold. Inhale, half forward fold. You can have your hands on the blocks, hands on your shins, hands even at the top of your thighs with the knees bent, or hands at the floor. Fingertips maybe touching the floor. Exhale, release into a forward fold. Inhale, upward salute, flat back, and maybe you want to add a back bend. Tadasana. One last time. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, dive to a forward fold with a flat back. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Now we're going to change up a little bit. Exhale, bring the hands down. Step the feet back into a downward facing dog. Take a look at your hands and bring your right foot between your hands. So you can bend your knees. Bring your right foot between your hands. Gently lower your left knee to the floor. If you're feeling some sensitivity on that left knee, great time to grab a blanket, place it down, or a towel, and pad that left knee. We're going to be moving into lizard pose. This is a great hip opening pose. Walk your right foot out to the side a little bit. Place your hands on the floor or use your blocks. Right? The left knee can stay on the floor behind like it is here, or you can lift up. I'm going to come a little deeper in the posture as I bring my elbows down to the floor. Actually, I've got them on the blocks. So remember the options, remember the height of the block. The back knee, the left knee, you can keep on the floor. I'm just varying the heights of my block to show you. Keep the chest nice and lifted. So what I mean by that is try not to collapse forward. Lizard pose, nice, deep, hip opening pose. If it's available and you're quite flexible, you can bring the elbows down to the floor. You can also take the right hand and wrap it around the right foot. Find your edge in the posture. Take another deep breath, inhale. Exhale, come up into the hands. Tuck the toes under of the left foot. Lift up, come back to downward dog. Second side, take your left foot forward. Gently release the right knee to the floor, Walk the left foot out a little bit wider than your shoulders. Take your blocks, or not, up to you, and bring your elbows down either to the blocks or to the floor. Remembering one side might be a little tighter than the other. We're never going to be exactly the same on each side, so don't assume that. Many options, many stopping points, as I like to call them. Where do I want to stop? Do I want to stop here with my hands on the floor or even with my hands on the blocks? Do I want to stop here with my back knee on the floor, or do I want to lift? So in yoga there are many options. It's not a one size fits all. But knowing the options is probably the most challenging part if we've not been told what the options are. Take another deep breath. Come up onto your hands if you're not already there. Come into downward dog. Back to Thunderbolt, Vajrasana. The pose we started with is sitting on your heels. And just pause for a moment. Remove the props that are underneath your knee. Come back to downward facing dog. We're going to flow into a modified vinyasa. Bring the knees down. Inhale to table and come immediately to cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, table. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's do that flow again. Inhale, table to cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, table. Exhale, downward facing dog. Just one more time. Inhale, table, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, table. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bring your right foot forward between your hands. Gently lower, spin onto the ball of the back foot. Come up into a warrior two pose. Your trunk is perpendicular to the ceiling, so you're neither reaching forward or back. Your gaze is over the middle finger of your front hand. Your knee is tracking over the second and middle toe. Warrior two. Straighten the front knee. Reach forward as far as you can. Bring the hand down to your shin, to your foot, to the floor, or to the block. If I could see you, I would know you would need a block if you are rounding forward and reaching to try to get the hand to the floor, but you are rounded forward. So that's how you know if you'll need a block. Don't hesitate to use the prop. Once you've got the prop, stack your shoulders, open up. The top hand can be at the hip, perpendicular to the ceiling, or flip the palm down as you're bringing it up by your head. But the whole time, try to keep the shoulders stacked. If you're wondering what to do with your head, you can look up and look straight ahead. You can look down. You could even relax your neck. Triangle. Look down if you're not looking down at your foot. Bend the knee, and we're coming into a side angle posture. Side angle, the knee is bent. Same thing with the top hand. Can be at the hips, perpendicular to the ceiling, up by your ear. Use the block. Side angle posture. Look down, warrior two. Flip the palm up of your right hand. Reach back into reverse warrior. Keep the knee bent. Keep that front knee bent. Back hand is lightly resting at your left leg. Warrior two. Let's see if we can put that together in a flow. Warrior two to start. Triangle. Side angle. Warrior two. Reverse warrior. Warrior two. Triangle. Side angle. Warrior two. Reverse warrior. Warrior two, pause. We're going to go forward into that modified vinyasa. So you're going to cartwheel your arms down to the floor, spin onto the ball of your back foot. Come to tabletop. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Inhale, table. Exhale, downward dog. And just take a few moments to catch your breath if you're finding yourself out of breath, either in down dog or in child's pose, before we move on to the second side. Look between your hands. Bring your left foot up between your hands. Spin the back foot down. Come into a warrior two. Stay here, please. I'm just going to turn around to face you. Remember your warrior two posture. Trunk is perpendicular to the ceiling. Arms are parallel to the floor. Fingertips are reaching towards the opposite walls. Your gaze is at the middle finger. Your knee is tracking over your second and middle toe. Warrior two. Moving into triangle as you straighten that front knee. Bringing the arms, the hand down to either your shin. Don't forget your block if you need it. And keep a micro bend in the front knee. So this left knee, just keep a nice micro bend into it. You don't want to hyperextend the knee. Please, if you see me with my arm up to the ceiling, that doesn't mean you have to do that. You can bring the hand to your hips. If you want to go deeper, bring the arm up by the ear. Triangle. Side angle, it's where you bend the knee and you can place the opposite elbow rather, on top of your thigh, like this, or fingertips lightly touching the floor. But you've got to try to keep these shoulders stacked. Side angle. Warrior two. Flip the palm of the front hand, reverse warrior. Warrior two. Let's put that together in a flow. Warrior two. Triangle. Side angle. Warrior two. Reverse warrior. Warrior two. Triangle. Side angle. Warrior two. Reverse warrior. Vinyasa. Modified vinyasa. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, table. Exhale, downward dog, or even child's pose. Bend the knees, walk the feet to the hands. Place the hands on top of your thighs. Press up into a standing position to Tadasana. Moving on to our balance posture, tree pose. Options with a tree. Taking your right foot and grounding it into the floor, so really spread the toes out. Take your left foot, place the ankle at the heel at the ankle, or the foot at the side of the shin there, or the foot all the way up into the groin. So you might find it easier today. My balance is a little off today, so I think I'm going to keep my foot down. Lift my chest, elongate through my spine. Hands can be at heart center, keep them at the hips, or up over the head. So for me today, I find it best to keep my foot on the floor. You may find today that you can keep it up so that the heel is below the knee, or all the way up so that the toes are above the knee. Just a couple more breaths. And then come to Tadasana. Moving on to the second side. Whatever you did on the first side, please repeat on the second side. So again, I'm going to keep my toes on the floor today. I don't feel very stable. Lift your chest, straighten your back, bring the hands either to heart center or up over your head. And just breathe. Try to focus on a point that's not moving. We call that focus your drishti. Another deep breath, inhale. Exhale, come to Tadasana. Just close your eyes for a moment as you let the benefits of that posture be absorbed into your body. Begin to open your eyes. Inhale, bring the arms up over your head as you exhale into a forward fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, hands down, come to your knees, and everybody come to child's pose. Your expression of child's pose. Just taking deep, nourishing breaths in your child's pose. Take another deep inhale as you press yourself up to a seated position. Moving on to a bridge posture, lying down on your back. Take a look before you lie down to make sure that your feet are about hip width apart. And then help yourself back down to the lying down. Walk your heels in so that the heels are just lightly touching your middle finger. Align your hips with your knees, knees with the hips. Bring the arms to your side. Let's do a flow through some dynamic movements with the bridge. So as you inhale, you tuck your pelvis under and you begin to lift the hips up off the floor, pushing into your feet. As you exhale, you slowly lower down one vertebra at a time. Inhale, lift up one vertebra at a time as you peel up off the mat your vertebra, one at a time. Exhale, imprint into the mat, slowly down one vertebra at a time. And each time we move and we flow through this, you may feel like you can come up even a little higher and push up even more. And don't rush through the movements, please. One more time. Inhale and lift up. And let's hold up into bridge posture. And feel or look, even look, to see if your knees are falling in or falling out. Try to keep the knees parallel. If you find that that's not working for you, you can place a block between your thighs to help you with that. And lift up and maybe even crawl your shoulders underneath and clasp your hands together and lift up into a bridge pose. Release the clasp if you have the hands clasped. Slowly lower, one vertebra at a time. Walk the feet out as wide as your mat and bring the knees side to side, windshield wiper knees. Bring the knees to the center, walk the knees and feet together. Take your right foot, I'm going to turn, and so you stay where you're at. I'm just going to turn so that you could see what you need to do. Take your right foot, place the ankle on top of the left thigh. This is another hip stretch. You may feel like this is enough for you, and you can stay right there. Notice I've got my foot flexed, so it's like I want to bring my toes to my knee. That helps protect the knees. Stay here, or take the right hand and press out, but make sure that you're not moving your pelvis. So the pelvis stays neutral as you push out onto that right thigh. That's option 2. Another option would be to take the hands between your leg, clasp behind your left thigh, and pull in. Relax the shoulders. I like to push my right elbow into my right thigh as I'm bringing the left thigh in towards me. Reclined pigeon, sometimes called a figure 4. Whatever it is, it's a great hip opener. I am feeling my hips. They are talking to me. Sometimes also I like to just move a little bit side to side, and I can identify areas where it's really tense and I need to stay just for a breath or two. Relax your left foot, but your right foot you are keeping flexed. Shoulders are relaxed. Another deep breath, inhale. Exhale, gently lower the left foot. Bring the right foot down. Second side, take the left ankle, place it on top of the right thigh. Go through the options. Take the same amount of time to determine which is best for you. Do you stay here? Is this enough? Do you push on the thigh? Do you grab a hold at the back of the thigh? Another option I didn't share on the other side is instead of grabbing at the back, you can grab at the shin. I didn't show that because that's a little deep for me today. And I had to stop here because grabbing at the shins was just a little much for me today. But that is an option for you. Pushing elbow in to my thigh as I pull the leg, the right knee in towards my chest. Relaxing your shoulder. If you feel like your neck and shoulders are tense, maybe you want to shake your head, nod it side to side. Another deep breath, inhale. Exhale, put the feet down and just pause for a moment. Hug the knees back into the chest. Please bring the arms out to a T. Lower the knees gently to your left as you look over your right shoulder. If your neck does not feel happy looking over the right shoulder, maybe it'll feel happier looking straight up, or maybe even looking over the left shoulder. So do what makes your neck happy today. Try to keep your shoulders on the floor. Bring the knees back to the center, hug the knees into the chest. Second side, arms out to a T. Knees lowered to the right, looking over the left. Keeping both shoulders glued to the floor, moving your head around wherever you need to make your neck and your head happy today. Bring the knees back to the center, hug them in, tight as you can. And coming to our final posture for the day, Shavasana. In Shavasana, I like to sometimes roll up the towel or even place the blocks underneath my knees and then place the blanket on top, especially if I'm feeling a little tight in my lower back, which I am today. We did a nice long hike yesterday, so my hips were tight today. My lower back is feeling some tension. And so I'm placing the blocks and the blanket underneath my knees. Bring the arms out also to your side. Nice way to get into that posture is bring the hands to your belly and then let the arms come out open to the side. Relaxing your feet completely, let them roll out. Fidget around, find what's comfortable for you, and then settle. Let go. Let go physically, mentally, even emotionally. Observe what the body might be feeling. I'm feeling some wonderful energy flowing through my hips, through my shoulders. If your mind begins to wander, especially when I am quiet, bring your focus back to your breath or to your body. The sensations you may be feeling in your body, the quality of your breath. Even take notice of what thoughts might be swirling around in your mind and try to let those go. Emotions also of fear, anxiety, tension, nervousness, stress. Try to let all of those go. And so while I remain silent for the next few breaths, try to stay present in the moment as much as possible. If you're ready to begin to come out of Shavasana, start by controlling your breath, taking deep, deep breaths. And if you're not, you're welcome to stay here as long as you like. Just pause the video or turn it off. I have some props underneath my knees, so I'm going to just gently move them aside with my feet and come back straight legs. Begin to wiggle your fingers, your toes, your wrists, your ankles, even looking side to side. Bringing the knees and feet together, full body stretch like we did earlier. Hug the knees into your chest. Roll onto your favorite side. Keeping the eyes closed, cradling your head in your lower arm, trying to keep your eyes closed just for a few moments more. Use the top arm to help press yourself up to a seated position, your head being the last thing to come up. Finding yourself in Sukhasana, an easy seated pose with either a soft gaze down or your eyes closed as we take just a next few moments to stay inward. Resting your palms on your thighs, either face down or palms facing up. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for practicing with me. I truly appreciate you being here. Begin to blink your eyes open. That's the end of our Vinyasa slow flow practice. Thank you again. Have a wonderful day.